welcome to this short Pilates for the lower back in particular. So this isn't if you have specific pain, then you do need to go and see your GP. This is more if you're suffering with general tightness, stiffness, aches, probably due to lifestyle. So if you've been sat at a desk for a long period of time, if you've been stood in a fixed position, if you're doing a lot of high impact with your sport and you haven't balanced it out with your core and lengthening. So we're going to begin in a 4-point kneading position. So you're going to bring your hands directly underneath the shoulders, the knees directly underneath the hips, and find that neutral position. So just check at the moment you're not dipping the spine or you're not hunching the spine. You're on that middle line. So imagine you're balancing that tray on your back with those glasses. So we're going to take an inward breath and allow the eye gaze to look between the hand line to the knee line. And as you do that, you're rounding your spine. As you exhale, you allow the back to dip. Eye gaze will go towards the skirting board. Inhale, round. Exhale, into extension. So as you inhale, think about your sitting bones drawing down the back of your thighs, and you're picking up your waistband, the very small of your back, your lower ribs, your mid ribs, upper ribs, and as you release, lengthen away from the crown of the head and that tailbone. So start this movement with the sitting bones, drawing down at the tail. Feel the waistband flex into small of back, lower ribs, mid ribs, upper ribs, and then release. And as you release, try and keep your elbows still so the movement is coming through your spinal column. Breathing in. As you exhale now, think about sending not only the navel but your sternum towards the ground so you don't overly collapse or slide into the lower back line. Breathing in, breathing out. Now as you do this, can we add on and think about your blades being drawn back down your spine to your ribs, so sternum to chest to melt, shoulders to navel. We're going to do one more like this. Now if this isn't good on the hands, you can always go onto the forearms if you needed to. So holding it here, you're just going to move right to left, and then you're going to go back into flexion. So breathe in, breathe out, natural breath right to left, to each side. Move that pelvis. And we're going to do that once more through. So this could be an option if you need it to be. You can still do the exercises. And back up to center. Okay, now just finish that with little circles. So you're just going to circle the pelvis. Let's do 4 in one direction and 4 in the other. So sometimes if our back, we're suffering with it, the last thing you want to do is actually then lay on your back to begin. And release. And then just sit back, bring your big toes together here. So you're going to go into a wider position and then lengthen. Release the head and neck. Feel that nice stretch into the lower back. Now it doesn't matter if your bottom isn't directly onto the heels. That's fine if you're here. Just don't force that position. You might want a cushion to support through the forehead. And just release. Plenty of breath now into the small of your back. So as you inhale, imagine you've got that balloon that's inflating here, and as you exhale, it's going to deflate. 2 more rounds of breath. So the breath is key. Sometimes when we're suffering with the back, we shortchange the body and we don't breathe correctly. And then we don't get those oxygen nutrients to that area. Okay, bring yourself back. Just have a little shake out and circle the wrists if you need to. From here, we're going to reset. Now you can come onto the forearms, as I said before, if you would prefer, or you could do this on your tummy. But again, with lower back, I would suggest if you have getting niggles into your lower back, you don't want to be coming into extension from a completely flat position on the floor. So we're going to take the right leg and the left arm. So we're going to lengthen. So we're going to work here into a little extension and then come back. So not only is this lengthening, but you're strengthening the core. So imagine you've got that tray that we spoke about when we set up. You do not want that to wobble. So you're using your center, breathing out, breathing in. So you could stay with this option. So as you change, you don't want the weight to shift. Or you could start to take the hand off the floor. So lengthen until you can go no further with that hand. And then you can reverse this. So you could keep the hand on the floor, but take the leg. And again, don't overreach, keep that connection to little finger line to shoulder line. One more on each side, so choose which option you prefer here, wherever you'd like to go. Watch your back isn't dipping, keep that level. Last time. And then you can allow both the arm and leg to come off the floor if you like. So you could stay on any one of those options. So think of it as a length rather than a lift. Breathing out, breathing in. And this will strengthen into the centre and release. So come back into the position that we just adopted with your big toes together, so you've got it wide here, plenty of space. And then you're going to walk your right hand to the side, bring your left hand over the top. Relax the head so it doesn't have to touch the floor. Think about pulling this right arm bone back into your pocket. So you're going to get a deep stretch now down through the side here into the lats as well. And then you're going to walk back to centre, and we're going to go the opposite way. So it'll be that left hand underneath, just switch and draw back. And feel that stretch. And then bring yourself back to centre. Okay, so from your 4-point position, another area that we often neglect is into the side of those glutes. That needs to be strengthened to help support the abdominal line. So you're going to come down onto your side. So start on that left side. You're going to come to a little climb position. Bring the arches of the feet together. Just relax your head and neck, and then checking your shoulders, your hips, your knees are stacked. You might just need to play about with where you have the position in the legs to feel this exercise. So keeping the pelvis stacked, you're going to open, take that breath in. Now continue to press the arches of the feet together. Exhale, hover. So you're working around a neutral spine again. So you're just allowing the hip to move in a different direction. And think underneath here, you're lifting your lower ribs. So even if there's not physically a space, you're connecting with those tissues. And you can also do that by pressing into this hand and pulling the arm bone underneath you. Let's do 2 more here. And then release. And then from this position, you're just going to slide yourself back up to centre. And we're going to repeat that on the opposite side. So we're strengthening the sideline to help support the back. So again, just check your shoulders, hips, knees, ankles are in alignment. Relax the head and neck, so you're not slouched back. Press into this hand, draw underneath you, and then as you do that, you can just rest this one as a little support. Keep the pelvis stacked as you press, and you're going to open, and then you're going to close. So you just only go as far as you can, not this, okay? Less is more, keep connecting. And the more you press through the arch of the foot, so you create your own resistance to feel that work. Obviously, if that wasn't good on your head, on your neck, this is perfectly fine to bring yourself into this position. Let's do the 4, 3, I'm hoping you can feel that work, 2, and 1, and release. And then from here, just going to roll over onto your back. Okay, let's take the hips now. Both feet off the floor if that's good. If not, with your back, you're going to do one leg and you're going to circle and 4 times clockwise, 4 times anti-clockwise before you change legs. If you know your back's okay, take both feet, drop them below the knees, breathe in, breathe out. And then if you're on one leg, you change legs and you'll do the same in the opposite direction. Otherwise, we're here for 4, 3. Just imagine you're staring through that honey with the top of those thigh bones. 1, and release down. Okay, bring your feet into your hip width position. Unless that is going to aggravate your back, in which case you may go wider. So that's perfectly fine, you might need to do that. Now again, just for yourself, you don't need to overly tuck because that could aggravate your back. So in which case you do more of a lift. So the glute line, you're not actually tucking as such. Tuck if you feel that's appropriate, otherwise press into your feet, press into your hands, breathe in. And the bottom always levitates without a tuck if you need it to. Then you can peel the waistband, the smaller the back, the lower back, the mid back, the upper back. Now there's no pressure on the head or neck. Just check if legs aren't falling out. Imagine you're pressing into that ball between the knee line. Inhale, and then as you come down, it's as if your back is sat on that shelf for your lower back. So you're coming down from your upper, your mid, your lower, your waistband. And then if you are completely articulating, then you obviously need to go back, well, wherever you go, into neutral to finish. So some of you, it won't be appropriate to do this to start. You'll have more of a lift, do you see the difference, than a peel or a tuck. So let's go again, breathe in, press, breathe out. So this is going to now not only mobilize our spine, that can get a little bit tight, like this, almost kinks in a chain that gets stuck together, but we're opening through the front of the thigh and hips. That's going to get a nice stretch, and we're actually working into the back of our bottom, so into the back of the glutes now, and the back of the thighs, those hamstrings. So let's do another 2, breathe in, press, breathe out, peel. So as I said sometimes before, with the lower back, it's not always great to do exercises on the back that can aggravate it. So we're just mixing this little workout up. And final time. So you want that freedom, that fluency, that flow through the spine as you move. And then release. Okay, from here, let's take it into a little bit of rotation through the spine. So you're going to walk your feet back. You can go a little bit wider with the arm line to make a V. Onto the balls of the feet, and we're going to breathe in. So allow your pelvis to carry your legs, your lower ribs wrap your mid ribs, your upper ribs. And then as you come back, lead with your upper ribs. So think about drawing your upper ribs down, your mid ribs, your lower ribs. And then we repeat lower, mid, upper, without the shoulder leaving the floor. So you'd only allow the turn to be as far as you can without pulling up here. Think of these as your anchor points. And we're pressing the ankles together, pressing the knees. There might be a little gap between the ankles, that's okay. So just imagine you're holding that tennis ball between the ankles. And your head could stay neutral, or you can allow it to go the opposite direction, whichever works for your body. Breathing in as we turn, breathing out back to center. Just check you're not tucking your tail under, keep that length. And then we'll return. And then from here, just cross over your right leg. So we're going to activate now in more of a stretch down the glute line. So you can keep this foot flat, and we're going to breathe in. So if this doesn't suit you, you can have more of a wrap. Think about your knee is going off a diagonal rather than pushing it to the floor. So you're going to breathe in as you turn. So it's almost a semi-rotation. Feel that stretch down the glute, down the side of the leg. Exhale back to center. Then you continue the move and go the opposite way. So sometimes when, just be careful this doesn't happen, when your lower back is tight, these glutes can be tight. So it's a balance of strengthening but also lengthening. So keep pressing away the outer edge of your foot here and returning it to center. Breathing in, we'll do one more on each side. Breathing out. And then centre. And unhook. Let's change sides. So you're going to take the opposite leg across, lengthen out with the knee, foot stays flat, and then you're going to breathe in, keep the knee going this way rather than in, and breathe out. Inhale. You can look down the back arm or you can stay neutral. Exhale. And just notice if one side feels different to the other. So if you've got one side that does feel tighter, what I suggest is when you do your own session again, spend a little bit longer, double up the reps on the tighter side. Or if you're doing stretches, you just hold it for double the time. And back to centre. And release. Okay, unhook, just take a little shake out of the legs. And then from here, you're just going to roll over onto your side. We're going to finish this with a 4-point kneeling position. So this is for the lower abdominals now. Okay, you're going to have a little tuck, breathing in, and then you're going to hover. Now you can do this in your forearms, keep the tailbone long, exhale, release. Inhale, tuck. So watch you're not doing this and pushing the bottom. Keep the chest between the creases of the elbows. And release. So we'll do 2 more. Now you could hold these for longer. Remember, you can work from this position. It'll just be a different angle, but it'll be the same feel. You'll get this into the lower abdominals. So again, a lot of what I've taught you today, you've worked actually with the spine in neutral. Obviously, we're in a slightly different neutral here because we're on a diagonal. Breathing in and hold. And release. So not too much work with the feet off the floor as such. We've kept the foot line, the connection. And then to finish, just add in a side movement of the spine because we haven't gone that way yet. So allow the line to lengthen, breathing in, breathing out, just to finish. Now you could do this in standing, you could do it in seated, but again, if you've got tightness through your glutes, your hamstrings, your lower back, seated might not be the most comfortable position for you. Just lengthen. You could obviously take your arm right over the head if you knew that's okay on your back, but just keeping the levers slightly shorter will help tap the back. And release. Well done.